I'm sitting in that conference room when Lyle taps the screen showing my work and says, loud enough for the executives to hear, "Connor, stay invisible and let me handle the important parts." A few people laugh. My ears burn. My hands clench under the table. I say nothing. That's the moment my humiliation becomes fuel. I watch him gesture at my slides like they're his creation, like I don't exist. The executives nod along, impressed by his confident delivery. Inside, something shifts. It's not anger exactly, it's colder than that. It's determination wrapped in ice. I force myself to breathe slowly, to keep my face neutral. Lyle glances at me with that smug smile he always wears when he thinks he's won. He has no idea what he just started. Years from now, I'll look back at this exact moment as the turning point. The second I stopped trying to be seen by him and started building something he couldn't take away. But right now, all I can do is sit here and let him think he's broken me. I mentally replay the slap of his words as the meeting ends. But before I go on, I should tell you who I am. I'm Connor Hale, 34 years old, and I've spent a year being shrunk by that man. Not today. I graduated near the top of my class, got hired here with big dreams, ready to make my mark. Then I got assigned to Lyle's team. At first, I thought he was just demanding. Perfectionist, maybe. But slowly I realized the pattern. Every success I had somehow became his success. Every mistake I made was amplified, dissected in front of everyone. My confidence, which used to be my strength, started cracking like dried paint. I'd go home exhausted, not from work, but from constantly defending my existence. My partner noticed the change. "You're different," they'd say. "Quieter." I couldn't explain it then. How do you describe being erased piece by piece? But that's over now. Today marks the beginning of something else entirely. Flashback to months earlier. I hand Lyle a polished report, something I spent weeks perfecting. Charts, analysis, recommendations, everything leadership asked for. He flips through it quickly and says, "Great. I'll share this with leadership." I feel proud, relieved. Maybe he's finally recognizing my work. 2 days later, I see the report in an executive email chain. My name isn't anywhere on it. Not in the header, not in the credits, nowhere. Just Lyle's signature at the bottom. When I ask him about it later, trying to keep my voice steady, he waves me off. "Relax, Connor. You're not ready to be visible yet. I'm protecting you from scrutiny." Protecting me. That's what he calls it. I want to argue, to demand credit, but something in his eyes stops me. There's a warning there. Push back and things will get worse. So I swallow it. I go back to my desk. And I add that moment to a growing list of injustices I'm keeping in my head. After that, it gets worse. He starts excluding me from emails, conveniently forgetting to invite me to important calls. I hear about meetings after they've happened. When I do attend, he talks over me or dismisses my ideas without discussion. Other team members notice but say nothing. Nobody wants to be Lyle's next target. He gives others credit for my work openly now, not even bothering to hide it. When I try to talk to him about it, he sighs like I'm exhausting him. "You're being too sensitive, Connor. This is just how business works. You need thicker skin." Thicker skin. As if the problem is my reaction, not his behavior. My confidence doesn't just crack anymore, it shatters. I second-guess every email I send, every comment I make in meetings. At night, I lie awake replaying conversations, wondering what I did wrong. My partner sees me struggling and suggests I quit. But I can't. Not yet. I have reasons to stay, chains holding me here that Lyle doesn't even know about. I stay because I'm weeks away from closing on a house. My partner just started grad school, drowning in student loans and evening classes. We need my income. We need stability. I can't just walk away, no matter how much I want to. Lyle knows about the house. I mentioned it once during small talk, back when I thought he was a normal manager. Now I realize he files away these details, stores them like ammunition. He knows I'm trapped. He uses it. When work gets unbearable, when I consider updating my resume, I think about the mortgage approval letter in my desk drawer. I think about my partner studying late into the night, trusting me to hold things together financially. So I stay. I endure. I tell myself it's temporary, that I just need to survive a little longer. But every day feels like drowning slowly. Every morning I wake up with a weight in my chest. I keep telling myself I'm being strategic, waiting for the right moment. Really, I'm just scared. Then comes the flagship project. Leadership needs a major initiative completed fast. Lyle volunteers our team, which really means volunteering me. He dumps the entire workload on my desk. "This is a great opportunity for you to prove yourself," he says, as if he's doing me a favor. No additional support. No recognition when I deliver each milestone. Just more demands, tighter deadlines, impossible expectations. I work weekends. Skip lunches. Stay until midnight some nights. Office lights humming overhead while everyone else is home. The project succeeds. Leadership loves it. Lal presents it to them, soaking up applause and praise. He mentions his team vaguely but never says my name. I stand in the back of the room watching him bask in glory that should be mine. Burnout sets in. Anxiety follows. I start having tension headaches that won't quit. But I tell myself to survive now, thrive later. I just need to make it through this period. Then everything will change. I have no idea how right I am. Back to that conference room. When Lal says stay invisible, something in my chest goes ice cold. Not rage. Not the hot, destructive kind of anger that makes you do something stupid. This is different. This is determination crystallized into something hard and sharp. I realize in that moment that I've been playing his game all along. Trying to please him, earn his approval, prove my worth to someone who will never acknowledge it. That ends now. I'm done being a ghost in my own career. But I'm not going to fight him directly. That's what he'd expect. That's what he'd destroy me for. Instead, I'm going to outmaneuver him. I'm going to build something so undeniable that his opinion stops mattering. I walk out of that room with a plan forming, vague, but growing clearer with each step. He thinks he just put me in my place. He has no idea what he just activated. The version of Connor who needed his validation died in that conference room. What's left is someone much more dangerous. I walk out smiling. A fake smile, tight enough to crack, but convincing enough from a distance. Lyle sees it and looks satisfied, like he's successfully trained a difficult employee. He thinks he humiliated me into obedience. He has no idea what's happening behind this calm mask. I go back to my desk and open a new document. I start writing down exactly what happened. Date, time, who was present, what was said. Word for word if I can remember. Then I go back through my emails, my files, my chat logs. Every piece of work I've created. Every contribution I've made. Every time Lyle took credit. I organize it all methodically, creating a timeline that shows the pattern. This isn't about revenge, not yet. This is about protection. This is about building a foundation. I work late that night, long after Lyle leaves, putting together something he can't see or understand. When I finally go home, my partner asks if I'm okay. I am, I tell them. For the first time in months, I actually mean it. Phase 1 of my silent revenge begins simply. I start documenting everything. Dates, Slack messages, file version histories showing who created what. Every time Lyle steals my work, I keep the proof, not to attack him directly, but to map the gaps he's blind to. I create a private folder on my personal drive where I save everything. Screenshots of messages, copies of reports before he edits them, emails showing my original ideas that he later presents as his. It's meticulous work, tedious even, but I do it religiously. Every single day. I also start paying attention to things I never noticed before. Who Lyle impresses and who sees through him. Which executives ask detailed questions versus which ones just nod along. Where his knowledge is shallow, where he fakes expertise. I'm mapping his weaknesses without him realizing I'm watching. This documentation becomes my evening routine. My partner thinks I'm just working late again. In a way I am. But this work is mine. Mine alone. And it's building towards something Lyle can't possibly imagine. I stop trying to impress him. That's the key shift. Instead, I start fixing things leadership complains about. Broken workflows that slow down projects. Mislabeled data causing confusion. Inefficient processes everyone works around instead of solving. Lyle never touches this stuff. It's not glamorous enough. But it's the foundation that keeps everything running. I stay late, working quietly on these unglamorous problems. Nobody asks me to. I just do it. When systems start working better, people notice. Not loudly at first. Just small comments. Hey, this process is way smoother now. Or who fixed the reporting dashboard. It actually makes sense. I don't announce my work in meetings. I don't send company-wide emails taking credit. I just keep fixing things one problem at a time. Quietly. Consistently. Lyle doesn't notice because he's too focused on the spotlight. But leadership notices. They notice when their complaints suddenly have solutions. They notice when things start working without them having to intervene. My reputation begins growing in places Lal can't see or control. I start helping teams Lal ignores. Finance is struggling with a budget tracking issue. I spend a few hours building them a better spreadsheet. Operations can't get clean data from our systems. I write a simple script that automates the extraction. Engineering has questions about our methodology. I sit with them for lunch, explaining things clearly, making sure they understand. Not loudly, just consistently. I don't send announcement emails. I don't demand recognition. I just help. Word spreads organically. People begin saying, "Ask Connor, he always fixes it." Or "Connor helped me with that last month." These connections matter more than I realize at first. I'm building trust across departments, becoming the person people rely on when things break. Lal only interacts with other teams when he needs something from them. I interact with them like colleagues, like humans. The difference shows. My reputation grows roots in soil Lal never bothered to water. By the time he realizes I'm cultivating these relationships, it's too late. The garden's already flourishing. Lal keeps taking credit, but he can't explain the details. I watch this happen in a quarterly review meeting. An executive asks him a specific technical question about a project I led. He stumbles through a vague answer, using buzzwords that don't quite connect. The executive's eyebrows tighten. She asks a follow-up question. He fumbles again, glancing at me like I might rescue him. I sit silently, pretending to take notes, watching his confidence crumble in real time. He recovers eventually, pivoting to something else, but the damage is done. That executive now doubts him. I see it in her expression. After the meeting, she approaches me. "Connor, you worked closely on that initiative, right?" I nod. "Could you send me a detailed breakdown? I'd like to understand the implementation better." I send it that afternoon. Thorough, clear, detailed. Everything Lyle's explanation wasn't. She replies thanking me, CCNG the COO. I don't celebrate. I just file her response away. Another piece of evidence. Another connection. Another step towards something I'm beginning to believe might actually happen. The COO pulls me aside after a meeting 3 weeks later. We're in the hallway, her voice low but firm. "Connor, you've been holding this department together. Do you realize that?" My heart stutters. I wasn't expecting this. I fumble for words. "I'm just trying to help where I can." She shakes her head. "It's more than that. I've been watching. You're the one fixing things. You're the one people trust." She pauses, studying my face. Lal takes credit, but we're not blind. My throat tightens. Someone sees it. Someone finally sees it. I manage to say, "I appreciate that." She nods and walks away, leaving me standing there stunned. Inside, something lights up. A tiny flame of hope I'd stopped letting myself feel. Maybe this isn't just about survival anymore. Maybe I can actually win. That evening, I work on my documentation with renewed energy. Every piece of evidence now feels like ammunition for a battle I might actually survive. For the first time in a year, I let myself imagine a future where Lal doesn't control my career. Leadership announces a massive new cross-department project in an all-hands meeting. It's ambitious, connecting systems, streamlining workflows, requiring technical expertise and strong relationships across teams. Everyone assumes Lyle will lead it. He already starts bragging before the meeting even ends. In Slack channels, he's calling it his opportunity to shine. He tells our team privately that he'll need our support, but the recognition will lift all of us. I recognize the lie immediately. The recognition will lift him. We'll stay invisible. But I don't say a word. I just nod along with everyone else. That night, I receive a cryptic email from the COO. We'll be evaluating candidates for the new initiative lead. Your name is under consideration. Please keep this confidential. My hands shake reading it. Under consideration. Me. For something Lyle thinks is already his. I don't tell anyone. Not my partner, not my team, nobody. I go to bed that night barely able to sleep, mind racing through possibilities I never let myself imagine before. I later learned, through a trusted connection in HR, that leadership privately reviewed every candidate. They looked at documentation, results, relationships across departments. My fixes, my cross-functional connections, my consistent delivery. They were impossible to ignore, especially when compared against Lyle's record. His shortcuts became visible under scrutiny. Projects he claimed credit for but couldn't explain. Teams that avoided working with him. Deadlines missed because he didn't understand the actual work. They saw the pattern I'd been documenting for months, even without accessing my private files. Because the evidence wasn't hidden. It was in every system, every email chain, every conversation with people across the company. Lal built his reputation on performance. I built mine on substance. When leadership looked closely, the difference was stark. They also saw something else, my willingness to work without recognition. In leadership's eyes, that's not weakness. That's confidence. That's someone who doesn't need constant validation. Someone who gets things done. That's someone you can trust with more responsibility. One afternoon, Lal bursts into a director's office, voice loud enough to carry down the hall. If anyone but me gets that initiative, this place is a joke. I'm walking past, returning from a meeting, and I hear every word. The director's voice is quieter, harder to make out, but Lyle's fury is crystal clear. I've earned this. I've delivered everything they've asked for. I keep walking, face neutral, but inside I'm calculating. He's desperate. He knows he's losing control. People only react this intensely when they feel something slipping away. I round the corner and text my HR connection. Timing question. When are they announcing the lead? The response comes fast. Decisions already made. Announcement Monday. Today is Thursday. Lal doesn't know. He's in that office fighting a battle that's already over, burning bridges with people whose opinions still matter. I go back to my desk and finish my work for the day. Calm. Focused. Monday feels impossibly far away and dangerously close at the same time. Friday afternoon, the COO calls me into her office. I walk in trying to control my breathing, convinced she's about to tell me I didn't get it. She gestures to a chair. I sit. She smiles. Connor, this isn't a surprise to you at this point, but I wanted to tell you personally. You're the natural lead for the cross-department initiative. We want you heading this, with a promotion to match. For a second, I can't speak. My throat dries up completely. I nod, trying to look calm, professional. I'm honored. Thank you. Inside, I'm shaking. Every muscle in my body wants to jump up, to shout, to celebrate. But I hold it together. She continues, explaining the scope, the team I'll build, the resources at my disposal. I listen carefully, taking mental notes, but part of my brain is still stuck on those first sentences. I got it. I actually got it. The meeting ends. I walk back to my desk somehow. Sit down. Stare at my computer screen without seeing it. A year of humiliation just transformed into vindication. And Lyle still doesn't know. I don't tell anyone. Especially not Lyle. The announcement isn't until Monday, and leadership wants to control the messaging. I keep working like nothing happened. Over the weekend, Lyle continues bragging on Slack about getting ready to lead something huge. He's messaging the team about changes he's planning, decisions he'll make. He's already claimed something that was never his. I watch it happen and say nothing. Monday morning, I arrive early. My stomach is twisted in knots. I've rehearsed this moment 1,000 times in my head, but now that it's real, I can barely breathe. I grab coffee from the break room. Sit at my desk. Open my email. Wait. Lyle arrives at his usual time, confident, loud, greeting people as he walks past. He doesn't look at me. Why would he? I'm invisible, remember? I watch the clock tick toward 10. That's when HR said the announcement would go out. 9:58. 9:59. 10 o'clock. My email pings. Subject line. Leadership change and new initiative lead. I open the email even though I know what it says. We are thrilled to announce the promotion of Connor Hale to Senior Project Director. Connor will be leading our new cross-department initiative. My name in bold. My title. My role. Seeing it in writing hits harder than I expected. For a year, I've been erased, minimized, told to stay invisible. Now my name is in an email to the entire company. Attached is a detailed bio highlighting my contributions, my fixes, my cross-functional relationships. Things Lyle never knew about because he never paid attention. I hear someone gasp down the hallway. Then another voice, surprised. The office energy shifts. I can feel it even from my desk. People are reading the announcement. Lyle's office door, which was closed, opens slowly. He steps out holding his laptop like it might explode. His face is pale, completely drained of color. He looks around, confused, like reality just shifted and he's struggling to understand the new rules. Then his eyes find mine. We stare at each other across the office. He starts walking toward my desk. He stops a few feet away, voice tight. You. It's not really a question. It's disbelief. Shock. Betrayal even. As if I somehow cheated by being good at my job. I keep my voice steady, professional. Yes. Me. He glances at his laptop again, like the email might have changed. This doesn't make sense. I've been managing this team. I've delivered every project leadership asked for. I want to say, no, I delivered those projects. You just presented them. But I don't. Instead, I say something better. Something I've been holding on to since that conference room. You told me to stay invisible, Lyle. Turns out that's where I do my best work. His jaw clenches. He doesn't respond. Can't respond. What can he say? That he deserves credit for work he didn't do? That his stealing my contributions should be rewarded? He turns and walks back to his office without another word. I watch him go, feeling something I haven't felt in a year. Not satisfaction exactly. More like relief. Like I can finally breathe fully. The weight that's been crushing my chest just lifted. People start approaching my desk to congratulate me. I thank them genuinely, shaking hands, accepting kind words, feeling like myself again. Over the next weeks, Lyle's entire empire crumbles. And I don't have to do anything to make it happen. He did all the damage himself. People stop covering for him. They stop pretending he's the genius he claims to be. His missed deadlines surface. Projects he abandoned or half-finished become visible. His lies unravel when people start asking detailed questions he can't answer. Leadership loses trust rapidly. They reassign his major responsibilities. They stop inviting him to strategic meetings. He becomes what he tried to make me, invisible. I watch it happen with a strange mixture of emotions. Part of me feels vindicated. He earned this. But another part feels something almost like pity. He had real opportunities. He could have been a good manager if he'd chosen to lift people up instead of standing on their backs. But he didn't choose that. He chose shortcuts. He chose ego. And now he's paying the price. I focus on my own work, building my team, creating the culture I wish I'd had. I'm too busy moving forward to look back much. I build my team carefully. I hire people Lyle overlooked. Smart people who were underestimated, who worked quietly, who delivered without demanding spotlights. People like I used to be. I create a culture where credit is given generously, loudly, publicly. Everything Lyle never did. When someone on my team solves a problem, I make sure leadership knows their name. When we succeed, I share the victory. When we fail, I take responsibility. It's not complicated. It's just basic human decency. But in a company where managers like Lyle exist, basic decency feels revolutionary. My team responds. They work harder because they know I see them. They take risks because they know I'll support them. They trust me because I've earned it. For the first time in years, work feels good. Like I belong. Like I'm building something meaningful. The initiative launches successfully. Leadership praises our work, and I make sure every team member gets recognized. I watch their faces light up and remember what that felt like when it finally happened to me. That memory keeps me honest. Keeps me from ever becoming what Lyle was. Lyle quietly steps down from management 3 months later. Not fired. Our company doesn't fire people in his position. They just strip away authority gradually until leaving feels like the only option. He takes a lateral move to a role with no direct reports, no strategic influence, no spotlight. Just tasks and deadlines and accountability. I hear about it through the company grapevine. I don't celebrate. By that point, I've moved so far past him that his departure barely registers. I'm too focused on my own team, my own projects, my own growth. Sometimes I see him in the cafeteria or passing in hallways. We don't speak. There's nothing to say. He looks smaller somehow. Not physically, but in presence. The confidence that used to fill every room he entered is gone. I don't take pleasure in that. I just notice it the way you notice weather. One day my partner asks me if I feel like I got revenge. I think about it. Really think. No, I say finally. I just became someone he never imagined I could be. That's better than revenge. Months pass. My team grows. The initiative expands beyond its original scope because we're delivering results nobody expected. Leadership keeps giving us more responsibility, more resources, more visibility. I get invited to executive meetings, strategy sessions. My opinion suddenly matters in rooms where it never did before. It's surreal sometimes. I'll be presenting to the C-suite and remember sitting silently in that conference room while Lyle told me to stay invisible. The contrast feels like two different lives. My partner notices the change in me too. You're different now, they say one evening. More confident. More yourself. They're right. I'm not performing anymore. Not pretending to be smaller to make someone else comfortable. I'm just existing fully, taking up the space I've earned. The house we bought, the one I stayed for, feels like home now instead of a burden. My partner graduates from their program. We celebrate together. Everything I endured to get here feels worth it now. Not because of Lyle's downfall, but because of what I built. The relationships, the reputation, the person I became. I walk into my new office. They gave me actual office space as part of the promotion, and stop for a moment. Sunlight pours through the window, warm on my face. I set down my coffee and look around. This space is mine, earned through work nobody saw, through fixes nobody celebrated at the time, through quiet consistency when visibility would have been easier. I think about that conference room, about Lyle's voice telling me to stay invisible. At the time, it felt like erasure, like being told I didn't matter. But now I understand. I was never invisible to the people who mattered. Leadership saw me. Colleagues trusted me. My work spoke louder than Lyle's presentations ever could. He thought invisibility meant powerlessness. He was wrong. The best revenge isn't loud. It isn't dramatic confrontations or public humiliation. The best revenge is becoming someone they never imagined you could be. It's building something real while they build illusions. It's earning respect through substance while they chase spotlights. I was invisible on his terms. Now I'm visible on mine. And that makes all the difference.